This is ad supported games, with which Matthew Ball also suggested. So definitely a fraught topic. But he says there is a two-sided problem. The costs have gone up way too high on development, and at the same point, everyone feels terrible with prices going up on hardware or software or microtransactions. That is a challenge. It's not good if that is the only option, he said. I think the best evidence comes from the TV streaming space. In excess of 100% of net ads in the United States for years and years, and have been on the ad-supported tier. That sounded like a weird sentence. I don't know where I read that wrong. But
No, it was typed pretty weird because I was just copied and pasted. It was copied and pasted from an article. So
yeah, but yeah, essentially he's advocating for ads supporting games. He is very vague as to what this may mean. Well, not that vague actually. In the article, I think he points to supporting like Xbox, so ads for Xbox things, which I think is a lot better than how a lot of people may have interpreted that. Like, you're not just necessarily getting like an ad for Coke or, you know, GLP-1s or whatever. I think the way he described it was like ads for Xbox. So like maybe Game Pass or maybe other games, which I think they have to explore every single avenue. But Bill, what do you think on this one?
Well, first off, just to make sure everybody's clear, there was a lot of backlash when this was posted, and he tweeted, this is not correct. In the interview, I am asked about a comment I made before being hired at Xbox, then state that I was only 10 days into the role. So basically 10 days into the role, somebody asked him about this thing that he said before he worked at Xbox.
Right.
And then I'm not stating the company's plans or beliefs. What I do say is that ads should be used to offer more affordable alternatives alongside today's ad-free experiences, in the hopes that more could play as a result, similar to how Netflix and Disney Plus have ad tiers with all the same content, but at half the price or so. At no point do I even mention in-game ads, which I'm like, okay, so if you don't have in-game ads, what are you talking about? Are you just talking about the home screen? We already have that. On the home screen, you're already advertising to us on my Xbox. When I open it up, it's like, get this game. Yeah, that's advertising. So what's different there? And then he said, he said at the end, I personally believe interrupting the gameplay experience would be bad. So, you know, kudos to Matthew Ball for saying the right words right there, because I agree with that. What were you going to say, Jimmy?
I think what he's probably thinking of is related to cloud streaming. Like, while you wait for the Xbox on the cloud end to boot up, you watch an ad for Candy Crush or something, and then you get to play your game.
That's fine if I'm playing for free. Times. But if I'm paying, I don't want to see a single ad.
Yeah, I don't either. Ever. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'd love to see this thought out in like a closed environment that doesn't make it to Twitter, because I'd like to see what they're thinking
That's
of.
the thing, right?
I'm just like really interested in it from a just like curious data standpoint.
I'm not terribly mad at understanding that this was said before he was at Xbox. I'm not terribly mad at them like thinking about different things, whatever the thing is. But, and again, maybe not in this case because this was before he was at Xbox, but like Xbox has been talking a lot lately, and maybe they should relax a little bit. Maybe they shouldn't be saying so much.
Problem for them.
Right.
They need one person with a microphone and nobody else gets to talk.
The sucky thing is, the interview that was pulled from is so good. It's with Chris Dring from the game business, which I guess Jeff Keighley kind of funds. And it's like a great interview about like where Xbox is at in the future. And then that's like 1 second of the interview, and it turns into the one news story from it. But I was hooked, of course, listening to this podcast.
All right, I'll have to check that out.
Well, okay, Jimmy, ads in games?
No, actually, if they do it like Need for Speed Most Wanted and Burnout Paradise, where the billboards in the game
or Crazy Taxi,
I thought that was sick. I don't know why when I was a kid, I just thought it was really cool that like there's a Burger King ad that would turn into a Taco Bell ad the next week on the billboards. Like, just the idea that that was possible was like, whoa, my games are connected to the internet, dude. It's like the Matrix. I thought that was cool. They do it like that, we're good.
I loved it in Crazy Taxi when you would like go to pick somebody up and they'd be like, take me to Pizza Hut or take me to Tower Records. I thought that was awesome. Was like quaint. It seemed more realistic.
Yeah.
But if I'm playing Gears of War and, Master Chief pops up on the bottom of the screen and is like, yo, hey, you don't forget to buy this thing too. Then I'm going to be like, oh no, that ain't it.
What if you're firing up Gears of War, you get to the title screen and they give you a little pop-up that says Halo's coming out in 2 weeks, wishlist it now.
Again, that doesn't really bother me. The thing is
that's what I'm saying, though.
That's advertising
every time you boot it
for
up.
Their own stuff. But if I bring it up and it's like there's a sale at Target for Tide Pods or whatever, like, okay, no, I don't need that. That's a different thing. Right. But that's what's going to happen.
Right. I don't know. How do you know?
Because the companies always do this. They always take it one step too far. You go to the movies and it's like 30 minutes, maybe more of ads while you're sitting there in a seat that you paid money for. And it just pisses me off.
That's funny. I didn't even think about that. When we were talking in group chat, you said I don't like ads and things I pay for, and I was trying to think of like things where you probably have ads and things you pay for. I did not think about the theaters. That's a good example.
And that's not trailers.
Ads,
I'm all for
like
trailers.
Local ads.
What's that, Jimmy?
My theater does like ads for the landscaping company down the street.
I've seen
it's kind of awesome.
I've seen that. Yeah,
I'm like, that's pretty sweet. I'm like, maybe I should make an ad for the movie theater for my YouTube channel
for Deck Ready. That would be amazing. No, you should do it for the Jimmy channel.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, right. Yes.
That would be sick. So I guess, Bill, my pushback is just that, like, okay, you're right. That is inevitably what they'll do. I cannot deny that. And I've said that before, like with like price hikes on subscriptions and things like that. So you're absolutely right. I guess part of me would rather right now, like, if that happens, say that's bad. But if that doesn't happen and they do what I said, like, leave room for that, maybe, right? Like maybe a Halo thing pops up on Gears of War when you fire it up and it says wishlist it now. Like, okay, no big deal. Especially if that does help keep costs down or make more money, right? Like if that helps them not have a 3% margin, and that means we get better games, like they're talking about investing in their IP, we get more of their IP, and we get a console that's not $2,000. That's where I'm sort of like, maybe. I also think this is a very difficult subject, and I don't have like a single like tenet that I follow here.
But what you're suggesting doesn't sound like advertising to me. To me, advertising, I mean, yes, technically it is an advertisement for something, but when I think of advertising, I think of a third party paying Microsoft money to tell their audience about something. And there's going to be people who are like, well, Bill, you do ads on your YouTube videos. Yeah, my videos are free. I put out free videos. So it's acceptable to put ads on those things. I have a Patreon too. I post this podcast to the Patreon. I never advertise it. I never tell anybody about it, but I post that podcast to the Patreon without any ads in it so that people don't have to put up with the ads. When you say advertising for the new Halo game or something, we already have that. Like when I boot up Cyberpunk 2077, I'm like their little splash screen launcher that they have is going to advertise the Witcher Songs of the Past or whatever the thing's called. You know what I mean? That's something we see all the time. That's not advertising as much to me, but maybe I'm, splitting hairs.
Techland is so egregious with it, with Dying Light 1 and 2. They baked in like a 10-minute YouTube video that's like the trailer and a dev breakdown for Dying Light the Beast, and you had to watch it the first time. And I was like,
well,
what?
You can skip it?
the skip button wasn't working, so I was like getting conspiracied out, like maybe they baked it in that way, and then eventually it let me skip it. But it's like, I don't want to watch this fucking guy standing here telling me about a game I already bought. Like, that's crazy. Like, it should have been able to scan my Steam library or something to let me skip this ad. And then I'm playing Hitman right now, and it's advertising 007 First Light. That's fine. Like, a splash screen is fine. And when I booted up my Xbox for the first time in 2 years the other day, it gave me a full splash screen for the showcase, and I saw people complaining about that, but I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, because if someone's logging in to play Madden and they see that Gears logo and the Xbox logo, it's like, oh, you're getting more people in to the stuff that we care about and watch all the time. So it's like, to bring back their famous wording, a case by case basis.